How you doing? Mr. DJ back with another debut on my fantasy playlist. June the 10th, 1995 at number 35, The Rembrandts, one of the best pop rock and roll records I've ever heard. I'll Be There For You. It's from the TV show theme song. At least one of the theme songs to the TV show Friends, which was gosh dog, Friends. I never watched an episode of Friends, but that show was a phenomenal success. It was kind of like Cheers back in the 80s. I knew people who were into Cheers back in the 80s. And in the 90s, I knew people who were just absolute devout fans of Friends. And it ran between 1994 to 2004. And the cutthroat industry, the cutthroat television entertainment industry, that is phenomenal. It shows you the great acting and the writing that went into this show. Top 5 and the Nielsen ratings consistently between 1995 to 2004. It was number 1 in the Nielsen ratings in its 8th season, the show Friends. The last episode, I guess it is an episode, the last episode of Friends, which aired in 2004, was watched by 53 million viewers. Gosh dog it. I knew a woman who was really into Friends. I hope she's watching this video. The song, I'll Be There For You, was co-written by David Crane and Marta Kaufman, the producers of Friends. It was initially offered to a group called They Might Be Giants. They Might Be Giants had a song out. It was an alternative hit back in 1990 called, was it Birdhouse in Your Soul, I believe was the name of the record. It was also offered to REM, but the Rembrandts did it. And they really did a bang-up job on this record. The Rembrandts, they were okay. They were fairly successful before this record. They had a hit back in late 1990, early 1991. It was a nondescript record, but it was a pretty big radio hit, an MTV hit called Just the Way It Is, Baby. And then a couple of years later, they came out with a record called Johnny, Have You Seen Her, which I just barely remember, but it was a very big hit. Not a very big hit for them. And then they came out with I'll Be There For You. Some people compared this song to I Feel Fine by the Beatles. The guitar riff is reminiscent of that record. And also Pleasant Valley Sunday comes to mind by the Monkees. To me, it reminds me a lot more of Last Train to Clarksville by the Monkees. And it also reminds me a little bit of the Romantics, What I Like About You. A cross between the Romantics and the Monkees. But either way, it doesn't matter. It's got the 60s rock and roll DNA grafted into this record. And some of the new wave from the late 70s and early 80s as well. The Rembrandts, I'll Be There For You at number 35, a debut on my fantasy playlist. And one other thing I want to mention about this record, if I got this right, it only got as high as number 17 in the States. A lot of good records did not make top 40 in the States, particularly in the 90s, but it did go to number 3 in the UK. Rembrandts at number 35 on my fantasy playlist of June 10th, 1995.